Welcome to Learn to Live Stress-Free. This is Christine Wright with Dr. Robert Wright Jr. of www.stressfreenow.info.
This is Dr. Bob, the stress and pain relief doctor, coming to you from Stockholm, Sweden. Today, I want to talk to you about something that Elon Musk has brought up recently. Everybody knows who Elon Musk was. He's either the richest man on the planet or the second richest man on the planet. And here's what he's saying. He's saying that artificial intelligence is an existential threat to the existence of the human race. Let me say that again. Elon Musk has said recently and repeatedly that unless artificial intelligence and these algorithms are regulated, it's an existential threat to the existence of humanity. So I don't know about you. Previously I was concerned about artificial intelligence issues. I'm on a cruise ship and the facial recognition is not recognizing me, and I know why, because I've had the same issue when I go through customs because they use the facial recognition. About 70% of the time, the algorithm doesn't work because the algorithm wasn't modeled on people of color. And so what happens is that when a person of color goes into the facial recognition system, the system doesn't recognize them. Because why? Because they didn't use any models of people of color. And guess what? These systems are being rolled out all across the planet. But interestingly enough, most of the people on planet Earth are people of color. And they're not using people of color to design these systems. So as Arsenio Hall used to go, So that's something to think about. But just in case you didn't understand what I was saying, what is an existential threat to the existence of humanity? What does that mean? Well, anyone that saw the movie I, Robot over 10 years ago, I don't exactly remember what year it came out, but it was a movie with Will Smith and he was a police detective. And he was saying something's wrong with these robots and these systems. And nobody believed him. You know, it was like he was the boy crying wolf, the man crying wolf. Well, turns out that there really was something wrong, and where basically the machines had become sentient and were doing things on their own. One of the things that I find very, very interesting is that when I talk to IT design engineers, computer specialists, they all seem to think that, oh, well, that's fiction. That won't happen because we've built in a fail-safe. And I always ask them the same question. I say, listen, let me get this right. You taught the machine, the artificial intelligence, the digital systems, how to fix itself. You taught the artificial intelligence how to problem solve. And now we're at the point where the artificial intelligence is smart enough that you won't be able to turn it off because it knows how to run background programs and side programs, etc. So Elon Musk and even a Google guy recently said he's really concerned. And the thing is, these are people who are artificial intelligence IT enthusiasts. What are they saying? Artificial intelligence has the capacity to eliminate the human race. Why? Because think about what a machine is and what it does. It's just executing code, and it's trying to get to the endpoint for which it was designed. But guess what? When the machine can design and write its own code, at some point, this is like right out of the Frankenstein movies. Whenever the mad scientists make a monster, they love their monster, but the monster always ends up killing the scientists. And so the people that I've talked to, they all keep saying the same thing. They go like, well, there's only a small chance that that could happen. Oh, small chance. So you're not saying it can't happen. So I asked this question since I'm a qualitative guy. Suppose the machine becomes sentient. And once it's sentient, it decides, because it can program itself and it can fix itself, and now you can't turn it off, it's going to run things the way it wants. And what does the machine want? The machine wants perfection. And so what are the chances that human beings are perfect? Zero, right? There are no perfect people. So as the artificial intelligence seeks to execute perfection, guess what can happen? That means the human race could be eliminated. Okay, this is not just me saying this. They're talking about it in Wired magazine. These are all the high-tech people. And the richest guy on the planet, Elon Musk, is warning that you have no idea what you're really dealing with. So you should really start paying attention. This is bigger than a cell phone, et cetera. You know, we've got all these satellites monitoring everything and tracking everything. And now they're trying to eliminate cash. They don't even want you to be able to go in a store and buy something so that where they can't track what you're doing. And so this has to do with our political leaders. We need to get rid of those people who are against honest people. They're against honest people. That's what kind of system is running now. So you hear that, right? Let me turn so you can see where I am. They're flashing a light because I said that. They don't like people that are honest. So here I am all the way in Stockholm, right? And the light's flashing. And this is wherever I go, because these systems don't like it when we speak truth. They don't like it when we're honest, because the system is that corrupt. I have realized that all these years I've been so naive, very naive, that I thought, you know, the higher up you go up on the food chain, you know, it was going to be better. But that's not how it works. Some of the most corrupt nonsense is going on at the top levels. And it's all pay to play and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I basically have stopped watching the news in the way, because I used to be almost a news junkie. Every place I went, I would pick up a newspaper. Now it's hard to find a physical newspaper. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if Elon Musk, the richest man on the planet, is saying that artificial intelligence is an existential threat to the existence of the human race if it's not regulated, the question is, this is like the horse is already out of the barn through the gate. Can it even be reeled in? So I want you to think about that. But the bottom line is that the people that you elect to office, what are they doing? Are they complicit? Do they care about the existence of humanity, or they just care about lining their pockets? So that's the question. This is not a Republican thing. This is not a Democratic thing. This is not an independent thing. This is not politics. This has to do with whether or not the human race is going to be able to survive. If Elon Musk is saying that, you should pay attention. It's just like when Bill Gates said that a pandemic was coming, and then 7 months later it was here. Just so you know, he actually said about 7 to 8 months ago that another pandemic is coming. It's not if it's coming, it's just a matter of when. So that's why I'm getting my travel licks in, because we don't know when or they're going to shut everything down and people can't travel except the top people. You know, like the guy who was in the Grenadines when everybody was suffering, and he said life is good because he's on his $500 million yacht. I'm not against a person having a $500 million yacht. I think it's fabulous. I think about, when is our turn? So the other issue is that it's become clear is that is that a couple of the billionaire guys during the pandemic came on Bloomberg and Forbes, and they were talking about the fact that because they were looking at the data and able to massage it, they could see that most of the work that people were doing was being done by people making less than 100,000 a year. And so what they said is that they had determined they're going to start eliminating those jobs making over $100,000 a year. And so so that was in September of 2021 when I saw that report and read about it. And so this is 2023, like 18 months later. And what have you been seeing? The top companies, they've been crushing the jobs where the people make between 100 and 2 million. Now, you're probably going to say, well, why should I feel sorry for a person that was making 750,000 or 150,000 when you're making minimum wage? So that's a good point. But the point I'm trying to get at is that the system in the past, it used to just crush people at the bottom. What I'm saying is the system is now crushing upper middle class people. So this is Dr. Bob coming to you from Sweden. And I have to tell you, the prices here are out of sight. See this cap that I'm wearing? $27. I've been in many countries. I pay $5 for a cap. Yesterday, I went out and I said, I'm not paying that. And so they told me it was $25 when you convert. But that's if you paid with a card. But I wanted to pay with cash. So if I paid digital, it's $25. If I paid with cash, it was $27. Think about it. So I paid cash. So this is Dr. Bob on a sunny day in, let's see, I am in Sweden. So you have a good day. Be safe and be well.